Go ahead and show you, well, me and my girlfriend are going to show you how to do the new mixture. And this new mixture is for the autoflowers when they're young. You can also use this for regulars when they're young. And so this is using Florinova Grow now, just a new thing I'm trying. And there's a slightly different mixture I'm using. I'm also using this really, it's really expensive, but it's supposed to be really good root inoculator to help grow roots faster. That's not it. That's the CalMag. So first thing I'm going to put in is CalMag. And so this is to prepare the cocoa. And now this is, I'm going to want to go ahead and shake it up really good. Now this is after I already have all my pots filled with half cocoa, half perlite. If you're not growing in a gravity-fed system, make sure you shake it up really good like that. If you're not growing in a gravity-fed system, or like I'm doing, like the auto pot system, whatever, then you can go ahead and just use pure cocoa. I usually just use pure cocoa when I'm doing top feed or flood to waste feed, where you feed from the top every day, whether it's a drip system or you feed by hand. All right, so you want to put 10 milliliters. Now, I only do this for my very first watering. So when I very first water, that is right now, the cocoa has just been watered with just regular water. So when I first water my cocoa down to get it all soaking wet, because if I use the bag, it comes kind of dry. You want to make it nice and soaked, everything soaked, and same thing with perlite. So I have my perlite really soaking wet too. So I just go and soak it with my hose outside, which is well water. If I had tap water, I would use that. So we're going to put 5 milliliters in, and then go ahead and put another 5 milliliters in. You don't have to do that, but you don't have to do that until after you're done with that particular product. And so we're doing two of them, and I just have shot glasses that I put my stuff into if I don't want to pour it into lids. Now, if you're careful enough, you can actually pour the CalMag right into the lid it comes in. And the lid holds exactly 5 milliliters, so you can just dump 2 lidfuls, and that would be 10 milliliters. So again, I only use this much CalMag for my very first watering. This first watering is to saturate the cocoa so that it has a nice pH balance and a little bit of feed in it. And that's to get those seedlings to really start taking off. And if you haven't watched my how to grow in cocoa, then in my series, I have a whole playlist for it. Definitely watch that, because I show you how to do the seedlings, how I do my seedlings, how I get my seedlings. Just carefully pour it back into the container like she's doing. But yeah, so I have a cool thing that shows you how I do my seedlings. Oh, here comes my kitty. One of my kitties. I have lots of kitties. No, it's bad. All right, so next we're going to do the root inoculator. So we'll put the cap back on the CalMag. Always put your caps back on, because you might accidentally knock it over or something like that. I've done it before. It's really irritating. Okay, so we're going to get a stir stick real quick here. All right, so now we got our stir stick, and then we go stir. You want to make sure you stir in between each additive that you add to it. What I do is I stir one way, and then I stop and stir the other way. And it kind of neutralizes the water and kind of keeps it from spinning around. All right, so next we're going to show you the root inoculator. This is a new product that I'm using now, just to see if it helps the plants grow roots faster. Especially when you're growing something like an auto, which has a time-sensitive. Yeah, I'm going to shake everything before you use it. So we're going to make sure that when you have something that has a time-sensitive veg time, like, actually I need it over here for a second. Put the lid back on, please.
How am I using for this?
Right, so here it is. It's called Root Accelerator. I didn't mean inoculator, I meant to say accelerator, but let's go ahead and try to zoom in on this. There we go. Root Accelerator, if you're wondering what it looks like, this is what it looks like if you want to use the same brand. It's really expensive, $81. Basically $82 per this little thing. This is where the grow shops and stuff really rip you off. Problem is, I don't know exactly what is in this stuff. Otherwise, I would just use something else. But there are other brands out there that are other root accelerators you can try. I just wanted to try one that was supposed to be really, really good first, and then try a less expensive one and see if there's any difference. That's usually how I do it. Right. So what this basically supposed to do is supposed to make the roots accelerate faster. I'm only going to use this for the first maybe first week or so, maybe even 2 weeks. And so going to focus back here. Okay, so with the autoflower, it's not photosensitive, so it's going to go through its veg time genetically. And once it's done, it's done. So you want to try to take advantage of that. I'm going to shake it up first. You want to make sure you shake up everything first before you use it. You want to take advantage of that time period where you have a very short veg time with your auto. Some autos have bigger veg times, some have shorter. But you want to take advantage of that and get them as big as possible. And getting big roots is going to get them bigger. I would just go ahead and just dip it in the water to clean it. Just kind of wash it off like that for right now. There wasn't that much on it, so I'm not too worried about it. And maybe dip your hand in there too. Right. Otherwise, I would have washed it off in like a sink or something. This stuff comes out kind of thick, so you want to shake it up really, really good first for the very first time you're using it. As you can see there, it's all over the cap there. What I'll probably do is end up kind of rinsing off the edge there. Hold on. With this stuff, it's very, very potent. And on the bottle it says if you're using a res with oxygen to use 0.5 milliliters. If you're using a res without oxygen, like that is without a air stone, then you want to use 1 milliliter per gallon. But I'm going to do somewhere, I always do like less than what it says. So what I'm going to try is about 3 milliliters per 5 gallons. So that's a little more than half a milliliter per gallon. Not much more, but a little bit. All right, go ahead and fill up to number 3. Now what I like to do is fill up a little bit higher and then just like drip it back in to the bottle until it gets to number 3. Now, if you're wondering where to buy these little things that she's using, I get them at, I think it's Rite Aid. Is where I got that one. I think Walmart has them too. They're usually right there next to like vitamins, stuff like that, and I think they're where like baby vitamins are or something like that. You can also get them near the pharmacy section too. All right, so this stuff is supposed to basically help the roots grow much faster and quicker. So yeah, if we can manage to get the roots to grow faster and quicker, that's awesome. But another way we can get the roots to grow faster and quicker is in the air pots I designed. And what I decided to do is just to do 4 of them, and what's going to be going in them is the automazars. I decided to do only 4 of them as the air pots. So how I showed you how to build the air pots in another video, how to turn your auto pots into air pots by drilling holes with the fabric in it. I only did 4 of them that way, and 2 of them I'm going to keep as just the standard, just to see the difference with the same strain. I would take the lid and just kind of turn it upside down. There you go. The little excess that's going to get in there is not that much, so it's not a big deal. And I'm also under measuring anyway, so that little extra that gets in there is fine. Make sure you stir up in between everything. And then lastly, we're going to add Flora Nova Grow. Now, usually I just do Flora Nova Bloom for the entire grow, especially with autos. But what I'm trying to do here is to maybe prolong by giving them a higher growing or vegetative cycle type of food. And if you look at, because she can turn it, the label toward me, the Flora Nova Grow, and it's a 7-4-10. So that's in the 10, that stands for NPK. The higher K values is going to allow, and the lower P is going to allow to kind of prolong flowering, because if you have a higher P, that's NPK, that's going to allow for them to want to flower faster. The higher K, though, makes the roots grow and the stems grow and all that kind of stuff, and strengthens the stems. And of course, nitrogen helps in overall growth of everything. So I'm hoping that by using this formula in the beginning for the first couple weeks of the life of the auto flower, that it's going to allow it to grow bigger and faster and veg bigger and faster and veg a little bit longer, and then the root accelerator hopefully get it bigger roots, so that way when it does start to flower, I'll get a bigger plant with bigger flowers on it. So with this stuff here, on my first grow, when they're very, very little seedlings, and I'm just watering for the first time, I only put a little bit of this stuff in there. So I'm only going to put 3 milliliters per 5 gallons. So that's going to keep it about, I think it's going to be at about 200 or 300 ppm. We'll go ahead and check that when we're done. I think that's really good. That's what I always do when I use Flora Nova Bloom. And this stuff is pretty much the same strength. So pretty much the same stuff, all the same micronutrients and everything. Be careful with some of this stuff, because dogs and cats love it. And they will drink your water if you leave it around. So you want to cover it up, because I don't think it's very good for them.
Can't even read it.
Oh, I meant to say, my bad. I meant to say, hold on. So that's, hold on. Can you stop for a second?
Right.
Use the measuring cup. I meant to say 3 teaspoons. I use 3 teaspoons, and each teaspoon is 5 milliliters. So go ahead and put 2 more milliliters in there. And that'll be 1 teaspoon.
So put 2 right now.
Put 2 more for right now.
Well, I have 3.
I know. So put 2 more milliliters.
After the 3?
You already put 3 in there, right?
No.
I thought I just saw you put 3 in
No,
there.
I just meant to really fast.
Okay, yeah. No, dump all that out.
It's 3.
I know. Just dump it out. This is easier. Okay, we're gonna put 3 teaspoons in there. For those that don't know, a teaspoon is 5 milliliters. So this is a 5 milliliter dropper. So it's going to fill all the way up to the top 3 times, and that will give us our 3 teaspoons. And again, this should give us somewhere between 200 and 300 ppm. Now, I don't like to water with just pure water when my when my autoflowers are just getting started. Because the way I seed my plants, they're already nice and big. They have a huge like taproot on them. Just again, watch how I seed my plants, how I put them in the paper towel, and then I put the paper towel in the Ziploc bag. You put the Ziploc bag in paper bag. And so when I'm done, they're huge. They got nice, huge taproots on them. In fact, they usually have their first leaves on them, and they're already popped out the seed and everything by the time I pull them out of the paper towel. And so when I put them in the rock wool and put the rock wool in their pot, and I water them with this stuff, I like them to have just a little bit of nutrients. Now you can use just pure water if you want to, but you definitely want to have some CalMag in it, and at least in that first watering to give your coco some CalMag. And that's why I do that. And that's why I also use just a little bit of the nutrients. Now you gotta be careful with Flora Nova. It's very, very thick, so that's why I like to use. I never use a dropper tool for it like she's doing right now. I usually just use a little measuring cup. If you can show them the little measuring cup I usually use, you can buy these at grow shops. They have like teaspoons and milliliters. They have pretty much everything listed on them. No, not that one, the other one. That's just a regular shot glass. There you go. So it looks like this, and it has all the listings on it. Teaspoons on one side and tablespoons on the other side. It has milliliters. So there's just a couple bucks that actually that one just has teaspoons and I think it might have milliliters down the center. Yeah, it does. It's like, I think it's like $2, something like that at the grow shop. Of course, they way overcharge for it, but it's kind of cool, and they come in different sizes. So really great to use. Then you go ahead and do a final stirring. All right, then after we stir it up, we're going to go ahead and use the nice, cool 2-in-1 pH TDS meter here. It also can measure EC if I want to measure in that. For those that have seen it, know what kind of brand I use. It's the Milwaukee. I'll go ahead and zoom in on it for a second. There it is. Let's go ahead and zoom back on over there. Right, so go ahead and put that in there, turn it on. And so we're going to see where the pH is at for right, and then I'll also see where the parts per million is at. And then based on what those readings are, I'll add either a little bit of pH up or pH down if it's necessary. But this should give us pretty close to 5.5.
Wow, 5.3.
Okay, so I have to put a little pH up in it. If
5.2.
I probably just let it sit for a couple hours, it'll probably rise. I don't feel like waiting. Hit the P.
It's bouncing from 5.1, 5.2.
ppm.
5.30.
Okay, so 530. So that's, I don't know, it's a little higher than I thought it would be. So,
Looks like it's staying at 5. Now it keeps going down.
so maybe I should have only used 2 teaspoons of Flora Nova or Grow. Doesn't matter. I've used 3 teaspoons so many times. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now we'll use a little pH up. So it's at 5.0 right now. So I'm thinking maybe we're at 5 gallons of water. It's RO water, so it naturally wants to be lower. I'll probably use 5 milliliters. That should bring us where we need to be. All right. So as you can see, I keep it in a little shot glass here, and then I'm just gonna have her put 5 milliliters using the dropper tool. And then just set it down. All right, and we're going to stir it up again real quick, and then we'll check the pH, and hopefully the pH will be good now. And again, this 3 teaspoons is fine. I know it's reading at like 530, whatever. That's probably partly because of that other stuff added to it, plus the CalMag and that root accelerator. But it's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt them, even though they're little seedlings. This is just for the first watering. After that, I'm going to water with just the very little CalMag, only 5 milliliters per 5 gallons, and then the like 2 teaspoons of Flora Nova, and then maybe 2 to 3 milliliters of the root accelerator. 5.9. Okay, so that was a little bit too much pH up. I could put a little pH down. I could put a little pH down in it if I wanted to, like 1 milliliter. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put 1 milliliter pH down in there. All right. And in fact, when you do this, sometimes I find it actually stabilizes it. If you want to stabilize it quickly, this is a fast way to stabilize it. So you put the pH up in there until it goes a little bit over what you want, your target mark. Then put a little bit of pH down to bring it back down to your target mark. And then it's going to help stabilize it faster. Another way to do it is to put just a little bit of pH up in it to where it's still a little bit below your pH mark, about 1 or 2, 3 points below your pH mark, if you're using RO water. And then wait like an hour or two, and then it should rise up. If not, maybe you might have to wait 6 hours, and it'll rise up to that mark you want it to be at. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and measure it one more time and see where we're at. Want to kind of shake it around at first. What I really like about this particular Milwaukee instrument tool is it comes with a separate probe. So when the probes are what go out. So when the probe goes out, you just replace the probe, which is cheaper than having to replace the whole thing all the time. I think it's like 50, 60 bucks. And so you just replace the probe, and it's a 2-in-1 probe. So, and then the machine pretty much.
It says it's a 5'9".
The machine pretty much lasts you forever. So.
Oh my bad. No, 5'8".
All right.
They're staying at 5'9", so I think it's.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 more milliliter. We're gonna go ahead and do it off camera real quick, and we'll test it and let you know where it's at.
It looks like it is at 5'7", 5'6".
All right, 5'5". Shake on a little bit. I hope it doesn't go below 5'5", 5'4". Oh man, so I had a feeling that would happen. Now if I let it sit for like an hour, it'll be where I want it to be. But let's go ahead and put 1 milliliter pH up in there and I want to get it to where I can water. That's a little too low still. I mean, it's going to rise up, I know that, but I want to get it exactly where I want it to be, which is at like 5'5", 5'6". So 1 more milliliter pH up should get us to where we need to be. So we're going to do that really quickly here. The cats are ever so curious, just loving to watch what we're doing. She's just like laying right here, just watching. Little baby cat's just kind of playing around, doing whatever. That's mama cat. That's sassy. She's sassy because she's sassy. Kind of a little bitch sometimes. Let's see where we're at now. All right, 5'7". So that's perfect, and so that's probably going to stay pretty balanced too for quite a while. It's a quick way of balancing it. Now I'm going to water with that really good. I'm going to water all my plants with that really good. Let them drain out, and then after that I'll put them into the grow room, into their autopot system. But the hoses are pinched off, and then I will start watering them every day by hand for about the next week or two. Once the plants look like they've established themselves really good in the pot and they look like a good size, then I'll turn on the water. I'll show you all that in future videos. So just stay tuned for future videos of the Auto Dutch Passions Mazar, so the Auto Mazar. So I'm gonna kind of make a separate playlist for the Auto Mazar, and then for the autos I've been doing now. They're all in the same room. It's a perpetual system. So I got the 6 right now that are really big and they're like really flowering good right now. And then I'll have the other 6 that are going to be in vegetative state, and they're always going to be like that. But I'm going to do it as 2 separate grows, like 2 different grow journals. That way you kind of follow along each one. Because I'm going to do something a little different probably for each one. This one I'm actually 4 of them are going to be air pots with the holes drilled in them, whereas before none of them are like that. They're all just as the system came, because I kind of want to see what the system did just as it comes. Also, another thing I did different, and I'll talk about that one in the video when I show you it, is I put pebbles. I put the hydroton in the bottom, about 2 inches high. That is about, I used 2 pitchers full, which are half-gallon pitchers, so basically a full gallon. Anyway, so I'll get to that later. This is how to go. This is how I'm mixing my new nutrient mix. The only thing I'm going to do different when I actually water them every single day is when I make my 5-gallon thing. The only thing I'll do different is I'll have only 5 milliliters of the CalMag. I'll still have 2 to 3 milliliters of the Root Accelerator, and I'll have only 2 teaspoons of the Florinova Grow at first. And then as I start getting bigger, I'll up that to 3 or 4 teaspoons. And then once they're like really good, I'll up it again even higher. And I'll talk about that through each grow as I'm going through step by step. So each video update, if I'm changing the method of how I'm watering them that day, I'll let you know. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, tell your friends about it, and let's teach them how to grow some dank. Say yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Like
so
you're
funny.
charging.
All right, bye, guys.